Welcome, guys, once again to the MMOs.com podcast, episode 146. Altai here, joined by the one, the only,
Omer.
All right.
I'm always the one and only.
The one and only. All right.
So, what have you been up to this week, Altai? Give us a quick recap before we jump into the weekly raid.
Well, I'm still here in Turkey. I took a little nap earlier today, so I'd be well rested for this time zone differential podcast.
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m. for you, or 2 a.m., right?
Yes, 2 a.m.
All right. Makes it a little spicy for you.
I've been eating out, watching Donut play Persona. She's pretty bad. She's playing on easy. I'm the one who stopped her from playing on like this. There's a mode below easy. It's like there's a term for it. It's like story only or something, right? Where if you pick that mode, you can't change it again because they don't want you like using it to skip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so she did not pick that mode. I stopped that from happening.
Good choice. It's too embarrassing if she picks that one.
Exactly. But yeah, besides that, just been chilling.
Cool.
What about you?
I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, as you probably guessed. A little bit less than usual. Been kind of waning down. I've basically gotten really good ratings on all the raids already done, like really good parcels already. So I'm just kind of doing my weekly resets, which is going to be actually there's a weekly reset today. So after the podcast, I'll be playing. But over the last 2-3 days, I've been playing a lot of Rust. Something dragged me back in.
Rust?
The game. You call that game, I think, the purgatory.
Yes. So I've said Rust is the kind of thing like I would use as punishment for someone who has like to serve out his time before he goes to hell or heaven. Like 10,000 years of Rust. You just spawn naked with this rock. You know, you got to go through this process of gathering a few things, and you die and you start over and over again. No progress, no nothing.
Rust would be your ideal game all the time, and I say this because I've noticed something. I've always noticed this, but it's been drilled down into me again since I last played. It's actually the most toxic environment I've ever seen in an online game. More toxic than like PUBG lobby. More toxic than like League of Legends games where people are frustrated and losing. I played for like 6-7 hours yesterday, right? And I can't tell you, every single encounter I've had are people just yelling, "Fuck you, you faggot, come over here." Like just literally just yelling at you. And when they kill you, they're just like, "Ah, you fucking faggot, you suck at this game. Ah, you couldn't hit me once, haha." Like they don't even like kill you because you're on the ground waiting to die. And they're just yelling at you until your character dies. This must have happened like 30 times. I'm not sure if Rust is just a magnet for the most angry people in the world, or it's just the gameplay itself kind of makes people into angry assholes. By the way, I love it. I fucking love Rust. It's an amazing game, and I love like the raw toxicity, the raw you can just the risk and reward, the loss. I think it's an amazingly fun game, but it's such a toxic environment, and I'm not sure if it's a game that pulls these people in, or it just turns normal people into angry people.
That makes me think. Imagine like those old philosophers were around. Like the one who thought like people's nature was like the noble savage, like people are good. Mm-hmm. The guy who thought people were bad. Like, do you think seeing Rust or like modern internet like arguments would change those ancient philosophers' minds?
Probably, because maybe.
I think Rust is a good example of like the unvarnished like side of humanity. Like I think honestly, I think there's that inside all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can just release it in games like Rust.
There's definitely some philosophical discussion to be had for Rust and toxicity and whatnot, but we'll save that for later.
That's true. We'll save that for later. So this weekly raid is a surprise to you, Omar, because I whipped it up as you were chatting with people during the pregame. I reused a banner we had, unfortunately, but the title is unique. So our Battle Royale games, the future of eSports. I have been an esports skeptic for a long time. I still kind of am, but I read an article this week about H1Z1, which is like the shit tier third rate Battle Royale, right? But they're doing a tournament in Las Vegas, and the cool thing about this is like, first of all, I always thought it was kind of cringy to have an arena full of people watching, like 10 people on a stage, like 5-on-5 like league. Mm-hmm. It just didn't seem as epic, a soccer game is huge. It's a big arena, right, in the middle. Yeah. A basketball game is a big arena in the middle, So the MOBAs always looked weird to me, like 5-on-5 on this little stage, right, with this huge arena. Mm-hmm. But this game looks amazing on an arena. So if you do a battle royale,
100 players on an arena? That seems too much. Like you said, a soccer game is like how many people play soccer on the field at once? Like 20? I don't know, 25.
but
Probably less than that, isn't it?
But the arena, the visual intake is big because like the stage is big, the play area is big. So with battle royale, so if you look at this thing on stream, so this is the arena they're gonna use for the H1Z1. It's this cool ass circular ring of players, right? Of seats, and there's like big lights in the middle and stuff. It looks cool. Like it fills your eye. You know, it fills your visual space. So I think this is if they can pull the logistics off, because it's really hard to get 100 people, 100 setups. How many times? Remember League of Legends? Omar and I used to watch League of Legends and Dota, the World Championships, and there'd be like a match where there's a technical problem, and they just have to wait for 30.
Restart the match.
Yeah, or like a 30-minute wait of like because they don't have internet, you know.
Yeah.
So can you imagine the multiplying effect of those technical problems? If you
First of all, this is impossible. I've been playing PUBG like a decent amount over the last 2-3 weeks, and you cannot go like 3 games without the game crashing or some kind of bug or some kind of issue with the game. And my friends, I kind of made like a joke about it now. Like it's just like if you can just play like a lag-free version, like game of PUBG, like 3-4 matches in a row, that's like, you know, you hit bingo. It's near impossible. So they're going to pull off 100 players to be able to play a single match without any issues. I guess if they have a LAN client that's specifically like made for this, it might work. Well,
remember, H1Z1 is a few years older, so maybe their client is PUBG, more. Yeah. Well, and I think PUBG is trying to get here too, and you know, it might take a year or two from here. I don't know, and that's one of the issues I brought up in the weekly raid. And how ready is the hardware and software and logistics to handle something of this nature?
I mean, it's interesting to see the H1Z1 is still around and still, you know, getting people excited for it. I think they're a little bit late. I think PUBG and Fortnite kind of has everyone's attention right now.
So do you think?
Hey, when is this event? We should go. I should go at least.
Yeah, it's April 21st, so pretty soon. So actually, I don't know what day it is. It's April 25. It's already started. You might have missed it.
Rip.
Yeah, so this happened this week apparently in Las Vegas. I don't think this will save H1Z1. So don't get me wrong there. I think it'll be replaced by. It is replaced by PUBG and Fortnite. But if this was Fortnite, can you just imagine this kind of arena? If it works, I think it has a real chance of actually entering the mainstream. Because if you look at the player base for Fortnite, and especially in America and in Europe, right? It is at a level unmet by anything in the past, even League of Legends. Because remember, League of Legends is worldwide, and and the majority of players, the vast majority, are in Asia, China, Korea, Taiwan. Whereas Fortnite is as big as it is today, purely in America and Europe.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, so if it can be an eSports spectator sport, it has the backing, the you know, people who know what it is, who can watch it, to really take it to the level of like basketball or baseball or something. You don't think so?
I would love to see. I would love to see it happen, but there's something about spectating a game like I think I spectated 1 or 2 matches of PUBG, like tournaments. It's a very weird thing to watch because I don't know. It doesn't seem as exciting. But then again, the camera could always pan to like where things are happening and stuff, and it could make it exciting. But I don't know. I'm not sold on the concept yet.
All right, let me try to sell you one more time.
All right, sell me one more time.
Okay, imagine this stage, right, with 100 people in a circle.
Yeah.
But and then when you die, the lights around your station turn red, and you hear a noise like, and your seat moves under you, like closes under you, and you fall down a chute. You get thrown into an alligator. Yeah, that's trap. You fall into an alligator pit. Okay.
All right. Then I would watch. If you put the alligator pit in there, I would watch. And the camera's playing down there, and you can see the guy falls in, like alligators just destroy them on camera. Oh, that would be mega hype. There's some real life Battle Royale shit going on. I would pay to watch that. That'd be awesome.
All right. But
you just sold me. I'm in.
But think about it. Fortnite is so goofy anyway. Obviously, it won't be real alligators or anything. But
before we leave the alligator pit example, would you compete in that game if you win? If you win, you win $1 billion. Would you compete?
No, I would. I've only ever won like 3 games of Fortnite of like the 100 I played, or more than 100 I played probably. So I am not the person to compete against.
I'm curious. Everyone in the chat, would you compete in a 100-player game of Fortnite or PUBG? And if you die in the game, you fall in the alligator pit and you die. and if you win $1 billion. I'm curious, maybe Wacko might say yes. Remember, the only rule is you're playing not against it's like a solo queue game of everyone. So it'd be like you won't be playing just against pros. That could be pretty fun. I probably wouldn't do it because I suck, but if I was Wacko, I might.
That'd be crazy.
Goes in. He's like, sign me up, boys. That'd be hype as hell.
Also, for those, someone mentioned, how do you keep track of all these players? At least this H1Z1 tournament is teams, so it's like the max number of players per team competing. So it's not 100 teams, like it's not 100 individuals. It's presumably 25 teams of 4. So it's a little easier to spectate that way because the 4 are always traveling together, presumably. Mm-hmm. I think this at least has the potential to be a real spectacle on TV. Like you can watch this. Like also a round of like Fortnite, right? Takes what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they're pretty short.
Yeah, I mean compared to this open-ended league game, especially Dota. I've been to multiple international tournaments for Dota, and a round time could be anywhere from 30 minutes, the GG, to like an hour and a half. If you include the banding and picking phase, and that's it's too inconsistent. I feel the whole circle shrinking is, I think, a great feature for Battle Royale because it's always the exact set length. It's always the exact same length each match.
I actually think the good thing about Fortnite and PUBG as an esport versus a game like League of Legends or Dota, like it's very intuitive to know what's going on. So like let's say like you're watching a game of PUBG on like ESPN4 or whatever, and like your dad walks in or your uncle walks in. You can look at the screen and have an idea of what's going on. Just try explaining Dota or League of Legends to like your uncle who's never played video games. You think, oh, this hero does this. They gotta kill the Baron. They get a buff and they can push this lane. No, they have no idea what's going on. At least if you look at PUBG, like, okay, he's got last man standing wins. The guy with the gun.
You can explain it with one sentence. Like even Overwatch or Counter-Strike. If your dad walks in, you try to explain, okay, what's going on? How do they win? Oh, they kill each other. But then they see like it resets, right? Oh no, they're just seeing. Then they switch sides and see who can plant the most bombs because the maps are uneven, like by design.
Yeah.
Okay? Like it doesn't make sense. Like, whereas this game, no matter what's happening, no matter how wacky it is, like you're building in Fortnite, right? There's rocket launchers. All you gotta tell your dad or whoever it is, okay, last man standing wins. He's the winner.
And they'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get it. Like it just clicks.
So I think Wacko made a good point. Pro Fortnite is literally impossible to follow, especially if you don't play Fortnite, because the building mechanics are actually quite insane. You watch a really good player in like Ninja play Fortnite, like the amount of building he does, it's weird and hard to follow. Whereas I think a game like PUBG is much easier to follow without the building.
But do you think
I think PUBG would be a little better for it?
But do you think
Fortnite's bigger?
Do you think though, for again like a non-gamer, Fortnite is any more difficult than, let's say, Overwatch? Like you're pushing this cart along. One guy's a gorilla jumping up and down.
Fortnite's still easier. It's still much easier.
Exactly.
Right? The last one standing wins. That's it. And you all have access to the same shit. Whereas you have different heroes and whatnot in Overwatch.
Yeah, that's
it's
IMO.
much easier to follow.
Right,
I think actually, while on the Battle Royale topic, I mean, I do think Fortnite and PUBG will push the boundaries of esports, considering just how massive these two games are. But I would like to see Battle Royale in other genres as well. I think we already know that there's rumor. I think Battlefield is working on their own Battle Royale game. I think there's rumors that Valve is going to be working on some kind of Battle Royale game at the CS:GO. And there's a 400-player Battle Royale coming out called Mavericks. But I would like to see a Battle Royale in MMORPGs as well, because after all, this is called the MMOs.com podcast. And there was one game, this Chinese game, actually. There was Path of Exile did their April Fool's Battle Royale mode, which I think is becoming a regular occurrence in the game. But there's a game called I just put the news article up for it. A game called Moonlight Blade, which released their own Battle Royale PvP mode. What do you think about that, Altai? Take
Moonlight,
a look.
Oh yeah, where? All right, let me see.
It's on the homepage. I linked it to you in the podcast chat.
I see.
Just put the video on there. Take a look. It's Moonlight. It's a game that's available in South Korea and China, developed by NetEase. We did a Grindfest Friday video for this game.
I remember
over a year ago, I think.
Yeah.
So it's in an MMORPG, and I feel like if they and you could say Fortnite, you can say that a game like Path of Exile is a little bit different. I know League of Angels did their own bullshit Battle Royale game, but that's a browser game. This is a real MMORPG, a traditional MMORPG, and they implemented their own PvP mode for a Battle Royale. Yes, it looks a little bit wonky, a little bit janky, but if they can pull it off, like why can't we see? I I would love to see Blizzard implement some kind of battle royale into World of Warcraft. That could work.
Undoubtedly, they will. Because
undoubtedly, guaranteed. You got all that guarantee?
I guarantee you they're gonna do a battle royale. It's gonna be like you queue into it, just like the arenas. Yeah. Remember when even in vanilla they had that 40-man Ultrac Valley, so they clearly can handle that many, that number of players.
Yes, definitely. Or Final Fantasy 14. I think we're going to see more traditional MMORPGs jump on the bandwagon as well.
And to reminisce here, I feel like Ultrac Valley was pretty ahead of its time. Like in 2004, you had like how many players was it? Was it 40 on 40 or was it 20 on 20? It was pretty big.
It was huge.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Somebody said South Shore versus Tarn Mill was always just a massive battle royale. I don't know.
That's like a team-on-team thing. That's not like battle royale.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. It feels like a cluster F of just players mashing into each other. But I think a battle royale game, if done by Blizzard, it could work really well. I mean, it could integrate into WoW, and I don't know. I want to see more RPGs do it because, it can exist outside the game in its own PvP queue. So they can even like redesign like some parts of the game around that. Like, I don't know. I think it'd be a lot of fun because I think, and we've said this for a while too. MMORPGs are more than the sum of their parts. So just adding some new PvP mode. For example, Final Fantasy 14 added this really bizarre MOBA game mode, right? A PvP mode where there's like 3 lanes, you got to push towers and shit, right? It sucked ass. Nobody plays it, right? But they tried it. It was neat that they tried it, right? Yeah. And they can do that. And more PGs can do that because they can add to their queues. And maybe we'll see a Battle Royale game coming into some of the bigger and more RPGs eventually.
I think so. I think we're going to see the Battle Royale style in lots of different genres, like you said. Mm-hmm. Even Darwin Project, which went free to play this week, is a little different because there's some more gathering involved, right? Like the building.
Yeah. It's only 10 versus 10 as well. There's only 10 players in the game.
So it's a little different. Mm-hmm. So we'll see more of that, definitely. Now, I honestly don't think anything. I think Fortnite is the runaway top here. Nothing's gonna beat that anytime soon. Don't WoW got Pokemon? Yeah, WoW has like these pet battles now, which
battles. Yeah, shit like that is what makes MMORPGs great. I've been saying that for a long time. I like the whole package in WoW. Brings everything together quite nicely. Gives a lot of stuff to do.
MapleStory Battle Royale. That'd be amazing.
Maybe. Actually, I do want to talk about MapleStory too. But we should mention that you mentioned Darwin Project. The game actually just went free to play this last week. It was an early access. It used to cost money, and it's weird because you have games like Fortnite and PUBG, which were both already out, and Fortnite was free to play. I don't know what Darwin Project was thinking, charging money. So they just
how dare they?
Yeah, maybe it sounds kind of stupid the way I just phrased it. Like, how dare they charge money? But it was peaking about 250, 300 players online in a day, right? And now that they went free to play, they're hitting looks like a 24-hour peak of over 12,000 since going free to play, from 300 players to 12,000. Wow. Obviously, those numbers may not stick. It's only been about a week or so, but the game is popping right now. And they said they went free to play because players who bought the game were waiting forever to find matches, right? Because like nobody's playing this game, and this was a good solution to that. And this kind of makes me think there's a small chance if Lawbreakers went free to play, it could have seen, bigger numbers as well. Small chance. But at least, Darwin Project, it's so much better that they decided to go buy to play than just free to play than just sit there as a buy to play game and slowly die.
Have you tried that game yet, Darwin Project? No. Okay.
My buddy Zim has, and he loves it. Says it's like
we should play. We should try that sometime.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said, I bet Bless will go free to play. It might. I think BDO will go free to play as well. I do want to admit that I was wrong. I've been saying that Black Desert Online would go free to play much quicker. I think I predicted it to be going free to play last year, and I was way off the mark on that. Like, at least maybe I was off by like 6 months at least. But I think Black Desert Online will still go free to play eventually, especially with all the Catchup heavy stuff they've been doing over the last 3, 4, 5 months. And I think Bless will eventually go there as well. But Bless is probably will remain buy to play for a while, at least as long as Black Desert Online has been.
Indeed. All right. Well, that was my weekly raid. I am, as you guys might know, I am the esports skeptic usually, but I think there's a great potential with Battle Royale to make a spectacle out of the actual arena. So obviously, I'm not alligator pitch is a joke, but with the whole 100-person setup in the arena, people maybe coming in, tagging in, or whatever. Like there's a lot you can do physically in the space with that stage that you couldn't do in a game like a MOBA.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully there's some innovation going on there, and I think we're going to see some fun visual spectacle stuff coming out of this.
All right, I want to talk about MapleStory 2. We talked about it last week, obviously, but this week, actually just yesterday, MapleStory 2 sent out their closed beta invites. I'm curious, did you get yours? Did you sign up for it?
I did not. No.
All right, well, you should sign up after the podcast. Make sure you get into wave 2 or 3.
Okay.
There'll be 3 waves of invites being sent out. Wave 1 already happened yesterday. I got my invite already, so I'm pretty hyped. So, just check your email if you didn't already do so. You'll know if you're in or not for the May 9th closed beta. A few people already in our chat saying they didn't get their invite. Sad face. Hopefully you'll get in 2 or 3.
Is it is it non-disclosure or whatever, or can you?
I'm pretty sure. No. I'm pretty sure it's open to everyone.
Oh, you just stream it. It'd be fun. I'll watch that.
Yeah, I definitely will. Actually, I'm mega hyped for it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, one of my friends sent me this picture from MapleStory 2 from the Korean version, saying like, "Holy shit, you can buy this for $2." And it looks like it's a player crafted item. I want to show it to you. Maybe not stream appropriate, but we're gonna roll the dice on this one. All right, it's MapleStory 2, but it may not be stream appropriate.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm clicking it.
It's a hat you can buy for your character that's just like this hentai face. It's the Ahego.
Oh, it's fine. You can't tell. She's just sweating, right? You know, she's sweating.
She's just sweating. That's all that is on her face. It's just some sweat.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that players can import their own models into the game. Like that alone is really scratching that surface. Remember, we had this pretty lengthy discussion, I think at least a few months ago, about the next generation of MMORPGs. And how games have to be more reliant on player-created content. And I think MapleStory 2 is a great example of at least they're handling it well in one facet, like in terms of the social elements, in terms of cosmetics, and the housing is kind of all around player-created content.
Yeah, I was actually shocked that we've seen so little of this in MMORPGs. Second Life basically was all about this, and we did see it in things like Minecraft and Roblox, but those weren't really MMORPGs, right?
Yeah.
So it's a really shame that we haven't seen it until a game like MapleStory 2 came along. So better late than never.
I don't think we're ready to. I mean, not necessarily ready, but I don't think it's really been. We have the technology, or just we're not ready for maybe on the gameplay front. Where like all the gameplay is designed by other players, right? Because I know Neverwinter has tried that with their player creative adventure system. It's actually a really good system for telling stories. Players create their own dungeons, their own narratives, their own storytelling throughout like an instance dungeon. And some of them are actually really good, but it exists in its own instance world, and it exists as a separate part of Neverwinter. Right? Neverwinter has its own main story quest with really good voice acting and story, and that exists kind of as a side thing you can do whenever you want. I would eventually and in MapleStory 2, the game has its own traditional gameplay as well. The player created content comes in the form of cosmetics, where that's all done by players. So it's only doing it in one facet. So I know Neverwinter did it on the gameplay facet. These guys are doing it in the cosmetic facet. I think eventually. I mean, I want to see the next generation of RPG, next big thing, the next World of Warcraft, essentially, I think, in the MMO space is going to be all player-created content. And again, it follows with Web 1.0, Web 2.0, Web 3.0, like where we are today on the internet even.
Oh, man. You know, that's a good way to date yourself if you use the term Web 2.0. Like that when we were like in high school, that was like the buzzword.
The buzzword, yeah.
But that
it still makes sense to me.
Really?
It conceptually makes sense. Look, Web 1.0, for those that are not old as fuck like we are, was basically websites created by people. Like MMOs.com is Web 1.0 actually, where all the content is created by some people, right? And then Web 2.0 is your Reddits, is your Facebooks, where it's more of a platform.
User created.
It's more a platform, and then the users create the content. That's entirely what Reddit is, but I actually find stuff like Reddit more useful than like news websites or like a lot of other websites. I spend a lot of time on Reddit, by the way, and I'm sure you do too, Altai. And I spend time on Twitter, which is again all user-created content. But MMORPGs and video games have outside of Minecraft, which by the way is still arguably one of the most successful like video games ever, and outside of like Roblox, video games are still very much Web 1.0. MMORPGs have kind of been like the players are kind of creating narrative in between each other, but it's always the world that's created for us by Square Enix or Blizzard and whatnot. Or by Nexon. I want to see players make everything. I want the game to be the platform and the content to be made by players. And at least MapleStory 2 is doing it on the cosmetic front.
I think that's very optimistic. And I think it was tried with things like Second Life, and it just didn't catch on somehow. I don't think
hold on. You cannot compare. Whatever Second Life was, it was a hot garbage mess. In fact, even today, I challenge you to play Second Life and try to figure out what the hell's going on.
I can't play it today, but remember when it came out, that was the generally accepted UI principles. You know what I'm saying?
No. At no point was that generally accepted UI. That was if you play that game, I challenge anyone on the stream to go download Second Life. There's a free, you can play for free, by the way, and just try to like figure out what the hell is going on, and try to get close from people and put it on. It makes no sense. It's unintuitive, and it's unbelievably bad. In fact, maybe we can't do it for a Grand Fest Friday because it's banned on Twitch. But I want to like sit down with you and watch you try play Second Life. It's actually atrocious. It might be worse than Final Fantasy 11.
I was about to say everything you're saying can also apply to Final Fantasy 11, which was a pretty mainstream MMORPG when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a matter of the age of these games. Like EVE Online and Star Wars Galaxies were both what you're talking about,
no,
right?
They are no.
Why?
Neither of those games come even close to as poorly designed UI.
No.
As
I mean, they're both kind of like 2.0 in terms of the narrative is entirely driven by players.
No, but still, so much of the world in games like Star Wars Galaxies and are just designed by the developers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, my ideal like next generation MMORPG is going to be the company basically creates assets and lets you use those assets, like the Unreal Engine or like Unity Engine, but all the framework for the game is already built, and players are just making their own zones, their own areas, in an easy-to-use way. And obviously, that's easier said than done. No one's done it yet, but that's the ideal, I think, where, the reason behind that is so obvious. It seems like you can never make an online, an MMO, like, as perfect. There's just so much shit you have to do to make an MMO. And if you can crowdsource that to everybody playing the game already, it could truly be something amazing, rather than just one company working on it. It's very idealistic, I know.
Yeah.
But this has been the dream for MMOs, I think, for me.
Well, to kind of bring you back down to earth, the one technology that has the slightest possibility of moving the technical scope of MMORPGs forward is SpatialOS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is it's something we've heard about for years now, and not much has come of it. But there are more projects down the line that are trying to use it. So, Omar, you linked me this video earlier today. I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
This is a game that was announced over a year ago now, right? I remember.
I believe so, yeah.
So it's
January 2017.
Hi everyone, welcome to the
Meet this guy. So this is Fractured. This guy is based in Italy. He's a former developer at Link Realms, which shut down, by the way, this year.
Mm-hmm.
So this is some kind of isometric sandbox open world MMORPG, and he's getting ready for his Kickstarter. So it's over a year since announcement, but now they're getting ready for Kickstarter. They're going to use SpatialOS, but to me, it doesn't look. Okay, so I'm going to go forward here. So it
skips the gameplay, yeah.
Yeah, this to me looks like an early 2000 action RPG. Like what? I don't know what the
magic here is. The
secret sauce. Like what is the selling point here? I don't know.
Well, there's when you look at just the video by itself, it doesn't seem very very inspiring. However, the game promises to be typical Diablo or Path of Exile style ARPG, but with a persistent open world and actual MMORPG elements. And they say it was gonna be a sandbox game as well, with interactable terrain and everything too. So you can you could do stuff and maybe build stuff on the maps themselves. Which when I'm looking at this, I'm not seeing any interactable terrain. Maybe by interactable terrain they mean like like in Diablo or Path of Exile, you see like a box, a crate, a barrel. You just left click on your character, kicks it. Maybe that's what they mean. But it just I don't know. What we're seeing right now is it's a very early build of a Diablo-like game. How they're going to make this into a persistent world with sandbox elements remains to be seen. And obviously the game remains unbelievably basic as is right now. They're calling it I hate this terminology. It's a pre-alpha. Okay? Why can't they just call it alpha? Or like development build.
Alpha.
What is pre-alpha?
Isn't alpha the first letter in the alphabet, the Greek alphabet? So it's number one. You can't be pre-number one.
So what comes before A in the alphabet? Pre-A? We start calling it pre-A?
It's a null. There's nothing.
There's none. Zero.
If you say your game is pre-alpha, that's like saying you got nothing.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. If you say automatic pre-alpha equals you got zero. You got zilch. You're better off saying alpha. Yeah. But I think they just don't want to say alpha because like alpha might mean they're further along than they actually are. I don't know. It's just nonsense. But anyway, these guys they claim to have raised $100,000 from investors, which seems odd to me. $100,000, that's pretty low sum of change for probably friends and family is what he means. He probably raised $100,000 from friends and family because they didn't name any investors. I feel like if you raised money from investors, you would actually say which investors because that gives your game more credibility. and they're aiming to raise $250,000 on Kickstarter. And this goes without saying, guys. You guys already know I remain skeptical about Fractured, as I remain skeptical about any MMORPG looking for funding on Kickstarter.
Yeah, the only defense I will give them is I don't think it's a scam. Like, I think these guys are just passionate group of people that want to make a game. How successful they'll be that's an open-ended question, but I do think they're trying to make a game.
Yeah, I agree as well. The word scam, I don't want to toss it around so easily because I definitely think this guy behind it. It's actually a relatively young guy, Jacob Petro Galelli, the Italian guy. I looked at his LinkedIn page. He worked previously at Mythic Interactive for looks like 7 months. He worked on Link Realms, which never really saw much commercial success, but that was a real game at least. Link Realms was a thing. It was a Ultima Online clone that it didn't really do very well, but it shut down pretty quickly. And before that, he worked for 2 years, 7 months at a company called Mega Zebra. Have you heard of Mega Zebra all the time?
No, I'm only familiar with the regular zebras.
Well, Mega Zebras are kind of like zebras, but quite mega. Let me show you what game he's worked on. All right.
Okay.
I don't mean to poke fun at it, but just take a look at this game. All right. The guy who worked on this game is working on this MMORPG. So just look at that video I linked all the time. Just skip ahead a little bit.
Oh, this is a Facebook game.
Yes, they worked on Facebook games.
This is like a really shitty Sims Online clone.
Yeah.
Which says something.
So this is the main company he's worked at, and look, the guy he's a young game designer. Clearly, he loves MMORPGs. He worked on Link Realms, an arguably very hardcore MMORPG. So the guy behind it really likes MMORPGs, and he wants to make it happen. It's just that I don't think there's much, he's got some experience in the game industry, arguably more than the guy who did Chronicles of Illyria. At least the guy who did Chronicles of Illyria was like independently wealthy, and the guy who did Ashes of Creation was independently wealthy. I mean, they have net worth of probably like over $10 million each. They've both made their own money, and they've been around a lot longer. The fact that he's so young and he's trying to raise money on Kickstarter, that also is a bit of a red flag. And from what we've seen in the video, it's very, very, very early. So I don't recommend you go ahead and back it. I do recommend if you're interested in isometric games, maybe just keep tabs on it. But I say save your money.
All right, here's what I don't get. And again, I just saw this video today, and when did it come out? I think it just came out today, right?
It came out today, yeah.
So I don't have the details yet, obviously. So take it with a grain of salt, what I'm saying. But what that we are seeing in this video requires SpatialOS. Like this game is built on Unity. On their website it says Unity. SpatialOS is the whole seamless cloud server thing that a lot of games are now billing themselves as like. Basically, I feel like SpatialOS is being used as like a sprinkle of magic dust to like say your game is going to be amazing. Like Chronicles of Illyria did it till they ditched it. Apparently, it's what's powering that one Worlds Adrift and its ability to have like this huge persistent, this unlimited persistent world, right? Because as players progress, like if they keep going in one direction, because of SpatialOS, they can just spin up new servers to accommodate that. But what we're not really seeing any building or anything. We're just these guys killing mobs in like an action RPG style that was possible in the year 2000, right? So
before that, Mo Online had this, and like Diablo 1 had this.
Yeah. So what are we seeing here that requires some like intense SpatialOS? Like,
well, I think in the video he talks about having like thousands of players in the street at once for like epic guild wars and stuff, right? And they're saying we have SpatialOS for that, right?
Oh.
But what really kind of nags me is at the beginning of the video he says like, we have a team of 7 people that have worked on this game in the course of like 7 months, and we're going to do some amazing stuff. And we have promising to have persistent world, sandbox elements, and an ARPG. He's saying the reason we can promise all these ambitious features is SpatialOS. Like this is like the big mystery tool that's going to make our game into something amazing with like such few resources. And it's the same exact thing, if I remember correctly, is what Chronicles of Illyria's head honcho said as well. In their Kickstarter campaign, they said basically like we can do all these amazing things that we want to do because of SpatialOS. It's our secret sauce. It's going to make us, make this game so quickly and so amazingly. And obviously, now that we know Chronicles of Illyria is no longer working with SpatialOS, they ditched all that, and they're using that as a buzzword to kind of like just fill in all the gaps of like what's possible and why they can do it. Is SpatialOS.
And by the way, SpatialOS raised hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, SpatialOS itself is a real technology platform.
But is it? Like, I mean,
has it gone anywhere yet, though?
Yeah, I don't think it's gone anywhere. I've been following this since it got announced. Which by the way, I think it's been like 2 years now, and nothing has come up. Worlds Adrift is like the main game that uses this. Mm-hmm. but that's also still in some kind of early alpha, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Didn't Jagex get a deal with SpatialOS
They
to like, work on another game with them?
they said they might work on a project together, but there's no like announced name for it or anything.
Yeah, it just right now looks like everyone working with SpatialOS seems to be these really indie studios. You know, it's like it's not like a real studio using their technology yet, which is I feel like if they had something really magical there, we'd see it used by EA, Blizzard, or something, right? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like why wouldn't EA or Blizzard use this or Ubisoft? Because they have real need to scale, the number of players they can have in one map or one like server. I don't know.
Weird. I mean, I wish them luck. Again, obviously the guy is very passionate about MMORPGs, and I don't mean to, rain on his parade. I just don't think you should be funding any Kickstarter, backed MMOs. I mean, if the game looks good when it comes out, buy it. Support it that way. That's usually the safest way to support these games.
I love. I'm on the SpatialOS website, and they have a few projects that they highlight. Games being made with SpatialOS. There's one called Vanishing Stars, and I love the description. It's blending unique elements of massive scale and meaningful persistence. Vanishing Stars is the world's first massively multiplayer tower defense game.
No.
Massively multiplayer tower defense game.
Hold on. There are people that don't like our use of the word MMO.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Are they going to be pissed off about the word massively multiplayer tower defense game? MMOTD is going to be a new acronym. A new category on MMOs.com. The MMOTD. That actually sounds like... I like tower defense games. They're fun, like, games you play on your phone or on flash games, right? But, like, how is the MMOTD going to work?
I'm going to Google the name of this game.
Is there 10,000 players building towers to stop, like, the line of units coming? It's revolutionary, poggers. I like ZenXL's acronym instead. MMO. That's fucking amazing, ZenXL. I love it. I do. I agree. Tower defense games are legit fun for sure. I'm just curious what an MMO TD is gonna entail. The future of tower defense games. Omega Law. So powered by SpatialOS, boys.
Oh, I made the foolish decision to click into one of their trailers, and of course it's just art renderings. There's nothing else.
Look at the sick gameplay, guys. Look at this gameplay. Look at this. Let this video play in the background. This is what I hate the most. When games like show off shit like this. Real talk. Not a single player cares about this art bullshit. All right. Never does anybody want to see this garbage. We want to see gameplay, actual gameplay, not nonsense or pre-scripted nonsense, pre-rendered stuff. We want to see someone playing the game. That's what we care about. And this video is like the perfect example of the most useless kind of video.
Oh wait,
give that a dislike. Give that a dislike. All right. I demand a dislike.
Is this the game? Is this out? This looks awful. This kind of looks like what's that Total Annihilation game? The new one with the newish one with the planets.
Yeah, we bought it, didn't we?
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called though.
This kind of looks like that.
It does actually.
Planetary Annihilation? Is that it?
Something. Yeah. That's it. We played Planetary Annihilation.
This looks like a shitty like browser or mobile version of Planetary Annihilation.
Yeah. At least we're seeing gameplay here now.
Yeah.
Looks like Spore. Looks like Alpha. Yeah, I mean, whatever. They're doing something with SpatialOS apparently. That's the spiel over here.
Yeah, I don't get what this has to do with SpatialOS, but there
I'm not quite sold what the MMO elements are right now. I see like a one-on-one battle going on over there, like a traditional tower defense game. I'm not seeing the MMO elements at all myself, but
this looks like an RTS to me, not a tower defense. But
yeah,
what do I know? I'm not an MMO tar.
Discover the new generation of ass clownery. Look, at least you gotta give them props for like trying to make an MMOTD. All right, it's something a little bit different. Is there any other genre we can MMOify that hasn't been like MMOified yet?
I like the term MMOify.
MMOify. What about? I'm sure that they probably already have an MMO chess, where it's just one giant board and everyone controls one unit. You spawn as one unit. I don't know.
It should be like there should be an MMORPG that like with classic quests, like you kill rats and like a 3D world with quest givers. Mm-hmm. You start as a pawn and like at level 10 there's like a job change to like a rook or like
a bishop
or a horse. Yeah, and then a rook and then a queen.
I don't know. Drift City actually. Somebody mentioned Drift City in the chat. Drift City is actually, I would say, definitely one of the more original MMO kind of games out there. It's like this, I guess, Grand Theft Auto online, but with a cartoony MMO look. It was kind of fun. Drift City was on EG.
Then
They were at least original.
I think there's isn't there an Ubisoft kind of racing game that's out right now?
Yeah, it's coming out, or if not, it's already. I forgot what it's called. It's a racing MMO, and we wrote the news on MMOs.com, but I forgot already.
World of Speed, is that it?
Maybe. Well, that sounds like one of them. Sounds like one of them. But I do think we need to see some more original stuff in MMOs. Actually, think about original stuff. Somebody mentioned in the pregame, Eat Eternal. Do you remember that game by any chance, Altai?
I do. It's one of those. It's by the Taiwanese company.
X-Legend games.
X-Legend, yeah.
But they had like this pretty, I would say, revolutionary class system in that game, where like just this one feature alone, I think it's a defining feature of the game, and it really, I just thought like was a really good idea. The way it worked was, you start as like a novice character. I think you pick one of like 4 base jobs, right? I haven't played this game in years, but your job level and your regular level kind of level up independently from each other. So you have a base level and a job level, and then once you like reach like level 20 warrior or something, you can unlock a knight, right? And you can start leveling a knight, which starts back at level 1, and then you can level up a knight, and then you can go back to like an archer, which is one of the base jobs, and level that one up as well. So you can have all these classes under one character, and then you could actually get like maybe a level 20 archer and level 20 like rogue. If you have both those level 20, you can become like an acrobat or something. There's some like combined form of that, and there's like multiple different paths for different jobs. I remember playing that. I had so much fun with it because it's just unlocking all the classes was really, really fun. I mean, maybe the classes weren't balanced, but this idea of unlocking advanced jobs was awesome, because job advancements I always thought was really fun, unlocking new jobs. And just having those job advancements mixed with other classes in order to unlock like combined jobs was mega awesome for me. And I remember just playing this game a lot, just unlocking all the jobs and trying to level them all up at once. I'm just kind of sad we haven't seen any other MMORPG do that. Where the games that you have this kind of system, like Final Fantasy 14, there's no interplay between the jobs. They're all separate.
I think that kind of first of all, I agree. It's a great concept. It's a lot of fun, but I think that kind of was sacrificed at the altar of balance. So that's one of the casualties of this like drive for balance.
But does anybody really care about balance
in
MMORPGs?
Yes.
I feel like if you're playing maybe League,
I don't.
Playing
you don't.
CSGO,
but people do.
I would say I play MMOs quite a bit. I've always thought like just fun is the most important part about MMOs. And the beauty about balance, it doesn't make sense either, because Final Fantasy 14 has a separate system for PvP where like all the abilities do different things in PvP. Like, and I'm sure WoW has their own adjustment for PvP as well. So PvP is kind of balanced differently anyway in like a lot of MMOs. So it's weird that we lose these fun concepts to balance in PvE.
Well, I would disagree with you. I think on the point about the PvP in WoW and Final Fantasy, I think I agree with you in Final Fantasy. PvP is this totally separate regulated thing, right? It's like regulated to a separate arena. But when WoW, I can't speak about WoW today, but when WoW Vanilla came out, it wasn't the way you're saying. It was PvP was intertwined from the origin of the game, like the whole faction.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not. Beginning. Yeah, so it was.
But the way it exists now is different.
Probably. I haven't played it. I am looking forward to playing Battle of Azeroth, by the way, but that's in August. But when Vanilla came out, it was certainly intertwined. Like you are meant to PvP from level 10, 20, 30 in the open world as you progress. So with other factions. So it was definitely designed with that in mind, with the balance in mind.
I just feel like the classes need Eternal. I am kind of sad that we never saw other MMORPGs really experiment with the classes the way Eden Eternal did, and even just like job switching, just being able to play other classes. You're bored of playing a mage, go play something else. I thought it was really well done. It wasn't a perfect game, but it was neat to unlock all the classes like that and play them.
I'm playing a video of some gameplay from Eden Eternal, and this actually reminds me of Flife. Actually, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
It's got the bright look on it too. This game has a pretty fun emotes as well. I mean, maybe that's why I remember this game so fondly. There was a caramel dancing emote. This game's emote game was on point. It's no Final Fantasy 14 emotes, but the emote game was definitely on point. If they remade this, it'd be nice. But it's sad to see so many MMORPGs not really go too ambitious with their design principles. We could talk about like the big games launching now, like Air and Bless. I think Bless looks like I'm gonna play Bless when it launches. I have a couple of friends that are hyped for it, but it really doesn't do anything too new. It's the same experience. I'm trying to think. Can you say what is the most like the one defining or the unique aspect of Blast that other games don't do? Like, does anything come to mind for you?
No. The Hans Zimmer comes to mind for the soundtrack.
I guess they paid this Hans Zimmer guy to make the soundtrack. I mean, but I'm trying to think. Maybe like the open world zones, like how like massive the zones look is kind of cool, I guess. But you've had that with like seamless games, like even Revelation Online has like this seamless open world, and Lineage 1 had a seamless open world as well. So that's not really too original for Bless Online. So I'm trying to think. I don't know. So many games don't have like, oh, that's really cool, that's different, Arguably, Final Fantasy 14 spiel is having all these classes on one character, and Eden Eternal spiel is the really advanced class system. But I feel like there's no spiel for a lot of games.
I'm actually playing a X Legends' most recent game, which is Grand Fantasia Mobile, and it's actually a step down, I think, from Eden Eternal.
Well, yeah, of course, it's on mobile. Yeah.
But so someone mentioned in the chat too, but between Bless and Air, I think I'm more hyped about Air. Because it's going to have what Bless has, right? Unreal 3 game, basic mechanics of like how you move and stuff. But it's going to have this whole aerial thing, this steampunk aesthetic. And you have to think that with all the money PUBG made, right? All the hundreds of millions of dollars PUBG made, some of that has to be poured into Air, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a good indicator there.
Yeah. I think they look pretty similar. I've seen gameplay videos for Air, and it looked pretty similar. I've seen Cry's video talk about Air as well. I think he played the Korean beta, and he talked about how similar it was to Bless. So I'm gonna play both. I'm gonna try both, but I just feel like there's no. Everyone seems to be trying to make it safe in more RPG, and not really trying to rock the boat in terms of just making things fun and different. And I think classes are a really good way of doing that. But again, I haven't seen it in Bless.
This Air
Maybe
classes,
the fact that
these Air classes look amazing. I'm looking at this Cry's character creation video.
I like the steampunk aesthetic to it. I want to play the guy with the guns. It's Z, me too. I'm personally most hyped by far for MapleStory 2 than both Bless and Air. I mean, both Bless. Again, it comes down to Bless and Air look like good games, but it feels like this is stuff I've already done before. But obviously, starting over again, doing the journey again is a fun experience. That's why I want to play them. But at least with MapleStory 2, I know I'm getting something a bit different. It's going to be... I've played the Korean version. It's not like other MMORPGs. It'll be hopefully a totally new experience. It does look a bit like BDO's character creator, though. Okay, FGT, obviously, I think a lot of people were hyping Revelation Online before it came out. And I think after our first video for Revelation Online, we did kind of mention how repetitive it was. It's really bizarre, actually, how Revelation Online kind of progressed. I remember it just seems like nobody play tested it because the first 2 hours of like literally no joke, the first 2.5, 3 hours of of Revelation Online is talking to an NPC and auto running somewhere, to talk to another NPC, to auto run somewhere else, to talk to another NPC, to auto run somewhere else, to auto run to the beach and pick up some flowers on the ground, to auto run to another NPC, and you feel like you haven't done anything for the first 3 hours of the game. And when you're finally done with all that bullshit, the game finally opens up and you have like 1 billion items in inventory that you have no idea what they do because it was this really frustrating.
The pacing was beyond awful.
Yes, beyond awful. That's a quote. MMOs.com. Beyond awful.
And there were certain levels that you were supposed to like stay at and then do all this other side stuff before you level up. Because otherwise, you ruin like your character or something. It was just stupid.
The pacing was definitely odd. A lot of people complain about MapleStory 1 and the way Nexon handled it, but I think the reboot server on MapleStory is a lot of fun. And I don't know. I never had a big problem with Nexon with their business model. I mean, the fact that you had to rent costumes was mega stupid, but I think you can buy costumes permanently on MapleStory 1 now. I know for the longest time it was rental based on the American version, but I forgot when they changed that.
I'm okay with that. As if you ever, okay. Well, speaking of Nexon, what I was not okay with, I believe in combat arms, you could not own guns like the premium guns. You had to
that was bullshit.
You had to rent them. See, that's different. If you have to rent costumes, that's fine. You know, who cares? It's just cosmetics. But if you have to rent guns, like premium guns, you can't own them. That's just stupid.
Yeah,
I think luckily that died down though. I don't think any of the free to play shooters today require you to just rent guns.
Yeah, most games are giving you permanent options now. I think Black Squad really kind of set the standard now for like what's good. Black Squad's got a really good business model actually. You don't have to pay any money for that game. Just by playing for free, you can unlock, basically permanent guns very quickly. I only have like probably 10 hours to Black Squad, maybe a little more. And I already have many, permanent guns unlocked. I mean, can you understand? I don't want to continue to pay for cosmetics over time. I want a one-time buy. Yeah, I want Nexon to include a cute Korean girl to suck my dick when I buy a cute costume in the game, but they're not going to do that. Obviously we the player want as much as we can get, and the company wants to give us as little as possible, and we meet somewhere in the middle.
Well, I mean, for me, I just don't care about cosmetics. So I don't care if they make you rent it, buy it. It doesn't register for me. But
whether you care about the cosmetics or not, I think whether the fact that they're going to charge you differently, I don't think it should matter. Like, if it's something you care about too, that shouldn't change. As long as the one thing you kind of have to defend is like the balance, where they can't make it pay to win.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If I have to grind like 2 days worth of currency to rent a gun for 1 day,
yeah, that's bullshit. Then you can't really play the game then.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember Nexon was on ball with gachas before mobile games were even a thing. Do you guys remember that? Like, Nexon's gachapons was like mega popular before mobile games like even existed. I mean, I think maybe other Korean games did that as well. We didn't really see gachas and loot boxes in America like super early. I think Korean games were way ahead of their time for that.
Well, you just mentioned a hot button topic this week.
Oh, that's worth mentioning.
So I don't actually know much of the story. Do you? So
yeah, I read the gist of it. Yeah.
So honestly, I think this is going to be bad for PC gaming, because PC gaming. So this whole loot box thing. So I guess I should just say what's happening. So the Netherlands, the government is cracking down on loot boxes, and they're saying it's gambling. It's going to be regulated. They really cracked down on a couple companies in particular. I believe who got their ire? I think Overwatch got the ire. EA got the ire.
PUBG and Dota. PUBG, Dota, FIFA, and Rocket League got the ire.
Now, in Europe and the Netherlands, there are currently mobile games, okay, like Clash of Clans or whatever, getting away with murder. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars selling shit in their shit games to shit players, okay? Now, whereas real games like Overwatch, real games like Dota, real games like Counter-Strike are getting are getting punished now for their loot boxes. So some people think it's a good thing, right? That the government is going to basically stop these loot boxes. But what's really going to happen, in my opinion, and we'll see, time will tell if I'm right, is these companies are going to realize, well, if this is being regulated in PC, like if a PC game that costs us so much money to make is being regulated and I can't monetize it, I'm not going to make PC games. I'm going to make shitty mobile games, right? Where there's apparently no regulation, right? You can literally just sell power straight up, like you can be pay to win as you want. No regulation. It costs a fraction to make these mobile games. So what I see is real companies like EA are going to pour more of their money into mobile games, and we're just not going to get as many PC games. So that's what's going to happen, I think.
That's interesting. You're right. That we during this whole loot box controversy, we never really heard discussions about mobile games. And like you said, these mobile games, I feel like getting away with murder might be an exaggeration, but
no, it's not an exaggeration. It's real.
But what these mobile games do, I would argue, is 100 times worse than what Battlefront 2 from what EA did.
Did nothing.
Like 100 times worse.
Yeah.
So interesting. I never thought from that perspective that gamers who are pissed off at EA and the loot boxes are really, what they're doing is digging their own grave to a degree.
100%. I think they're digging their own grave.
Because at the end of the day, what you're saying, it could definitely happen. Where why would you spend $100 million, $50 million making a quality PC game that we enjoy and that most of us enjoy here, when you can just make a garbage pay-to-win waifu collector or gacha game or pay-to-win strategy game and make 10 times more money,
Yeah,
like the highest grossing games in the world are mobile.
Like EA made Battlefront 2, right?
Yeah.
It's a visually beautiful game, all this stuff going on. And they got shat on for their loot box. Imagine instead they made Battlefront 2 mobile, okay? Where it's shit graphics, like cartoon crap, like these blocky, polygony graphics. You basically collect Darth. You got to open like these loot boxes. You got to open like 1 million loot boxes to get a gold Darth Vader. Yeah. Like fake Grand Order. Same business model as fake Grand Order, okay? We got to spend like $10,000 opening this bullshit to get the golden, and he literally just one shots everyone else. Like there's no semblance of balance, right?
Yeah.
They'd be fine. They'd be in the clear. There'd be no regulatory lashback. Yeah. Because
there's no lashback when these mobile games do the shit they do. I mean,
Yeah.
the drop rates too are insane. Like, I remember when Nintendo, with the Fire Emblem Heroes, the drop rates for 5 stars, I forget what they were. I think you were an article on it. It was like 6% or something.
I don't
The
remember.
drop rates for basically the rarest characters in Fate Grand Order are like 1%, which is insanely low. It's one of the lowest of any gacha game. They make over $1 billion a year, and I haven't really heard any like outcries to regulate these games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think I wonder why they decide to. Here's my guess. This is a guess. I think PC gamers are older, right? So they're in their 30s or like late 20s, like us. Like I'm 29. I'm guessing a lot of PC gamers are my age or older, and people my age and older, basically, we work, we vote, and we're like in like I guess the middle class of a society. We're not kids. We're not ignored like kids, right? By politicians. Yeah. So me complaining to my politician, who's probably my age, maybe he's my former classmate in college, right? He's gonna listen to me. Whereas mobile gamers are just no one. It's just that's the default now. Being
no
pay to win. Yeah, it's like a pay to win is like default in mobile gaming.
Yeah, I mean it's sad, but not that what's weird is I don't see a problem with Overwatch's loot box system or the loot box. And here's the spiel of the article, by the way. The Netherlands was regulating them as gambling because I think the reason why PUBG and it's weird because Dota, League of Legends got a pass, which is weird because League of Legends has their own loot box system too now, which operates essentially the same way the one in Overwatch does, right? But I can understand why PUBG and Dota 2 got maybe targeted because the items you can get in those games and the loot boxes you can actually sell directly for Steam Cash, right, on the marketplace, or via third-party websites, literally get US dollars for them. So if you're willing to just open a box with the click of one button on Steam, you can open a loot box for CS:GO and sell the items for US dollars instantly on a website that buys those skins for cash. So you can literally it's a form of gambling. Like literally, that is no different than gambling if you do it that way, right? So I understand that perspective. But I don't Overwatch where you can't like transfer those
why
items.
did Overwatch get blamed?
I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand why people are shitting on while Overwatch got targeted and League got ignored and other games got ignored. It's really League is doing the same shit that Overwatch is doing, but League I don't know, maybe they have better lawyers. I don't know, they presented the case better. But there is a distinction to be said for CS:GO and Dota 2, the way the marketplace works, the way those items are tradable, the way League and Overwatch works.
I just had a revelation.
Let's go.
Revelation Online. Here we go.
Let's go, Revelation. Let's hear the revelation for Revelation Online.
Here's why League got the pass. When I opened League client, I actually patched the League and played one game like last week, just for fun. Okay. And I remember they had loot boxes now, right? Which I didn't know about. But they had these blue shards, like blue essence, right?
Yeah.
It was a little confusing. I wasn't like I didn't know what was going on, so I just ignored it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what saved it. If you open Overwatch, right, there's literally a section where you can see the box and buy the boxes. Like a screenshot I'm showing on the screen right now. It's very obvious, right? And this is why Chinese games obscure things. There's like 20 currencies that build on each other and like they do stuff. It's to obscure the fact it's gambling. So if you're like a 50-year-old regulator looking at this game, you launch the game, you got no fucking clue what's going on. It's all just blabbed to you, right? There's like shards and essences and coins and tokens, but it doesn't make any sense to you, so you ignore it. You go, fuck this. But if you see literally a box with a price and you can click it to open it, then it's gambling. So the obscuring factor in these Chinese games is to get around their local regulations for gambling.
For clarification's sake, Overwatch was not targeted. The games that were targeted were FIFA 18, Dota 2, PUBG, and Rocket League. League.
Why Rocket League?
I don't know.
Rocket League does not use the Steam's marketplace, by the way.
I'm curious. Can you even trade? Can you trade cosmetics in Rocket League? I've played Rocket League, and I've unlocked cosmetics. But can you trade cosmetics? Anyone who's played Rocket League, can you trade cosmetics in Rocket League? I'm curious why Rocket League got targeted then, because essentially, is that the same system that Overwatch has? I don't know. I've played Dota 2 and PUBG on that list, but I've never played FIFA 18 or Rocket League.
Trading is if trading is not the issue, then there's no way to monetize it, right?
Rocket League does have a trade system for skins. Okay, that's right. So the skins you get are tradable. So it looks like that's what the line in the sand is for this local regulatory agency in Netherlands, is that trading these cosmetics is what makes it gambling. Can can you at least understand their approach? How is it different if I go to a slot machine and I pay $10, make a spin, or $5, make a spin, or buy a key for $2.50 in CS:GO, and I instantly sell the contents of the box for PayPal.
Well, to me that just means giving players more ownership of what they're paying for is being punished.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be a net positive though? If you give players the ability to trade the items they've already unlocked?
It was like this. Imagine you buy a game like Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers Melee, right? That game, the GameCube game, is currently worth more than it cost when it was a retail game. And this is true of a few games like Zelda, like Ocarina of Time or whatever. Right? There's a few games out there that are worth more today.
As collector items now.
Collector items, rare items, whatever, right? So is that gambling? So imagine I buy something and it's worth more like a year later because there's a demand for it. That's not gambling. Because so many items,
weird. You're right.
So many items in Dota are worth more later, not the day you open it, because they become like they
become rare.
Same with PUBG, right? Because like there's a crate that drops, and it only drops for that season.
And never drops again, yeah.
Yeah, and so the value presumably will go up as if people want that item later seasons, but they can't get it anymore.
I think what makes more sense is imagine a game like Hearthstone, because I mentioned physical TCGs, right? So imagine Hearthstone, right? In Hearthstone, you cannot trade your cards, but you can dust them, right? So if Hearthstone allowed players to trade their cards, and a third-party marketplace existed to sell your cards for US dollars, it would be considered gambling under the same logic that PUBG and Dota 2 are considered gambling, which is weird because today a kid can go to a comic book store and buy a pack of Pokemon cards, and but you can sell those cards back to the store if you draw a rare one, right? They'll pay you for the rare one.
Yeah.
Is that gambling all of a sudden? Are Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering cards, are Yu-Gi-Oh cards gambling? I don't understand the double standard that exists for PUBG and Dota 2 that doesn't exist for physical card games.
Wait, so why did EA get punished then?
For FIFA, I've never played FIFA, so I don't know.
So they didn't get punished for Battlefront, right? That was just hype.
No. This is FIFA 18.
Okay.
And I don't play sports games besides Freestyle 2, which is the best sports game. So I think that's what the again, it's weird because it doesn't apply to physical goods. But if you lock the ability to trade those items, don't you hurt the player?
Yes.
I feel like that's only like a positive for gamers to have access to their goods that they buy. Imagine being able to trade your skins in League of Legends or in Hearthstone. If you could trade your cards, you could actually get the decks you want faster. It just seems like giving players more shit ends up creating more problems, like regulatory problems, which I think is going to actually hurt PC gaming.
Yeah, me too. It's especially going to hurt the kind of things that you want to see. The kind of player created content, some kind of marketplace, like for people making selling their goods that they get created in the game. That's all going to be regulated away. It's going to be it's going to be like mobile games where it's basically a single player game and you're paying for content, like Figure in Order.
What's bizarre is actually people would end up losing more money if those third-party marketplaces didn't exist. Because I'm thinking PUBG, right? I know my buddy Canaris plays this as well. And the way I wanted to buy punk boots when I played PUBG, right? Because it was a pair of boots in the game you could draw from the first crate, right? They weren't particularly rare, but you had to probably open 30 crates to get them, right? Because it might take you a while to get them. But I would just open these crates. I would sell the garbage I get, like these T-shirts, for a couple pennies on Steam, right? And I would use those couple pennies to buy the punk boots I wanted, which made my character look cool, right? If it wasn't for that system, I might end up buying more loot boxes, than I normally would have. Just I've never spent money on PUBG besides buying the game originally, and the ability to resell my items to get the items I want seems like a win for players. And I think it'll make players end up spending less money overall. If you could trade your garbage Overwatch skins or the legendaries in Overwatch that you don't use for the ones you do use, there'd be less people buying Overwatch skins, loot boxes. I
agree, and the comparison you're making, I think, kind of works for used games. Like if you go to GameStop, you can buy a used game and you can sell your games back to GameStop. Yeah. But why companies like digital copies like on Steam is because there is no possibility of resale. Mm-hmm. Right? If a game is registered to your account, you can't sell it to someone else. Which is bad for players, but good for the companies.
I mean, ultimately, look, we do look at this from I would both sides, but I feel like I look at the most on the player side, and I feel like if PUBG and Dota close off their Steam marketplace, it's a net loss for players overall, because that seems to be the problem. No, because so far it looks like no authority has a fundamental problem with loot boxes themselves. That was never the problem. It seems like the gambling element, which is created by the third-party marketplace, is what makes it gambling. So at the end of the day, we might get shittier products with less we can do with them.
I've said this before in private, off like stream. I am almost certain that the Steam marketplace will be shut down in a couple of years. It's too big of a liability. There's too much money. Imagine, I bet you right now there are drug dealers using that to move millions of dollars around.
Well,
right? Like, don't you think so? Like with those Counter-Strike skins or whatever.
I don't know.
Dota
maybe.
Items? I think so.
I feel like you need Bitcoins for that or something better.
Well, which is why Bitcoin is also being targeted by government.
Yeah, it would be unfortunate to see more mobile games. I prefer my PC games, but you know.
All right, what do we got now? What do we got next?
Nexon acquired the studio behind Arpiel. Some minor industry news. Have you heard about that?
I did. Apparently, they want the engine because Arpiel was made
probably
on a custom engine, and they want to make more games with that engine. Arpiel is
maybe Arpiel will come out in America now. Who knows?
When we played Arpiel,
yeah.
When did we play this? It was a while ago.
Oh, it's been a while. We played the Korean version.
This is another one of those games that you would think in 2018 or the 21st century games would come out sooner worldwide after their local release, but this game has been out in Korea for a while now, and there's still no English release announced.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think this will come to America now?
It's possible because this game actually came out in. They announced a Russian release like this year. Like a Russian version came out in the last few months, right? And the studio behind it, so that's the first thing they left the Asian their home market of Korea. I think it might be not in Japan too, but the first thing they left the Asian, basically East Asian market. So because they launched in Russia and now Nexon bought them, Nexon has been saying for the longest time, for like the last 2 years, they want to boost their revenues that they make in North America and Western Europe. They want to get their games more in America. So this might come out in America as well. And the logic being that Soulworker seems to be doing pretty well. The game still gets over 3,000 concurrent users on Steam alone. Well, it's only on Steam right now, which is pretty decent numbers considering Closers and Critica come nowhere near that big.
I just from looking at your first look again, the visuals are so much more pleasing to my eye than Soulworker.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah,
they're so pleasing and so smooth and crisp. There's something about the engine where it runs unbelievably smooth as well.
Yeah,
it runs super smooth.
It looks a lot better than Soulworker and Closers to me.
I think Soulworker looks pretty good too. So I think it looks much better than Closers. But I think Soulworker looks pretty gorgeous.
I guess when I say it looks, I don't mean like the graphic like oomph. I mean like the fluidity, like the smoothness.
The fluidity is there. It's buttery smooth, and I think people should give it a try if they haven't played it. If you have a Nexon Korea account, which
you can buy from MMOs.com.
Yeah, we do sell them on MMOs.com. There's a link to them on the. Actually, what's pretty remarkable is with the announcement of MapleStory 2 coming out, a lot more people are searching Google for MapleStory 2, and people are so eager to play. They're buying MapleStory 2 Nexon Korea accounts from us on MMOs.com. Our sales of MapleStory of Nexon Korea accounts have went through the roof in the last 2 weeks. We sold a ton of those accounts.
So how much do we sell them for?
We sell for $20.
$20, guys, to try all your favorite Nexon Korea games. Buy now. Don't wait.
Right. There you go. That's our little infomercial there. Let's see what else is happening in the MMO space. Lost Ark. There was an interview for Lost Ark. I think they said they were gonna be coming out in Korea this year. We have a Korean release date. Might be an open beta release date or not, but something's happening this year for in South Korea for Lost Ark. Though there's no word on an American release. If I had to guess, at least 2 years, 1 or 2 years after the Korean release.
2 years. So, 2020.
It's a game we've all been hyped up for a long time since we initially saw that trailer, but we got to wait a bit longer, unfortunately. And Lost Ark is still on our list of highest rated games. Can you believe that on MMOs.com? Of like user rated games. It's always been on our top 10 for like the longest time. And the game's not even out yet.
People are, I don't know, people are super hyped. But to be honest, remember when I saw that 20-minute trailer for Lost Ark? I ran into your room, I got you, and we watched it again together because I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. That's what hype trailers can do to you, you know?
Yeah.
Of course, we gotta wait a bit longer for that, but it's out of reach for now.
Lost Ark is like the Elon Musk of MMORPGs, all right?
Never quite delivering.
Just hype. I got a uplifting story.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear some uplifting news.
Okay, so this week, Ben Brode left Blizzard. Okay, he was the head of the Hearthstone team, And I didn't know much. I've seen his face in all the trailers, right, or their developer diaries or whatever for Hearthstone.
Mhm.
But I didn't know his story, so I read this article. Polygon published it. This guy, in 2003, he was a pizza delivery guy, and he was delivering pizzas to Blizzard. Okay,
Wow.
Because he kept ordering pizzas a lot. And then he, obviously, he probably loved games, and he applied for a game tester job. He was he's a Warcraft 3 game tester, so at the bottom of the rung, right? From there, he worked his way up to be a game designer for Hearthstone, and then the lead designer. So this guy literally went from within 10 years, he went from 15 years actually. In 2003, he was delivering pizzas to Blizzard to the lead designer for Hearthstone. That's impressive.
And Hearthstone, we cannot, underestimate the game's success. The game made over $400 million last time we got revenue data from Super Data. $400 million. The game is probably bigger now than it ever was. But a guy that goes from pizza delivery man to being a designer for Hearthstone to being the lead designer is actually an incredible story. That's like the nerd story that's gonna keep everyone, like all the college dropouts, like super hyped that like they can still make it.
Yeah, this is definitely the rags to riches story here. He left to he's working on his own game now. We don't know what kind of game it is. Like he hasn't announced if it's a card game or not, which presumably, if I had to guess, probably maybe a card game, but some kind of video game. I wish him the best. He seems like a good guy.
But how does an aspiring game designer or somebody that wants to get into gaming who has no, as a college dropout, like how do they get into this? Like people read about this guy's story, but like it doesn't help them get there. Like how do you do it? I doubt you have any particular insights on this, but what do you think?
I think it's a grind. So what I would if you want, first of all, what do you want to do in gaming? Do you want to be an art guy? Do you want to be the sound guy, the designer, developer? These are totally different jobs. If you want to be a designer specifically, I would suggest you start by learning a game like D&D and being a dungeon master. It's and don't run like the standard what do they call it? Like the Neverwinter Nights campaign. Make your own campaign, make your own classes, and go from there. And run some people through it, your friends, and get their feedback on the things you design, the features you design, the classes you design. And then from there,
that's much more approachable than a video game. You don't have to worry about the programming. It's all basically pen and paper. It's something you can do right away.
A designer doesn't do programming.
Yeah.
So don't worry about the developer. If you want to be a developer, like a programmer, that's equally valuable, but it's a separate skill set. And then from there, work on a board game, a card game, go from there.
I think it's probably easier now than ever before because of one reason: modding. If you can make your own game on Gary's mod, for example, or even like think Warcraft 3 custom maps. The guy who made Dota on Warcraft 3, Ice Frog, he literally has a job now at Valve, and he's probably worth like tens of millions of dollars, if not more, because of what he's made with Dota 2 over at Valve. And it started entirely because of making a custom map for Dota 2. I don't think Ice Frog was not the original creator of Dota, right? He took over from
Yules was the original. Then Ginsu.
Yule.
He took it from Ginsu. Ginsu came after Yule, and then it was Ice Frog. But a more recent example is Brendan Green from PUBG. There's a great. He's on. I watched the H1 I think it's called podcast where Brendan Green was on. He basically this guy was not a programmer. He was just a guy. I think he was a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
He was living in Brazil.
Wedding photos and stuff. Yeah.
He was a wedding photographer, and he just modded Arma, with no like prior programming experience, and he made it big.
And his story is actually amazing too. He started with Arma, and now he's arguably one of the biggest games in the world is PUBG, and he is he's not a game designer per se, but he got started with just modding. And we have tools now. You can mod Skyrim, you can mod Gary's mod, you can make maps for StarCraft 2 if you want. And you can do all this without. And Minecraft is a beautiful example now too. What kids are creating with Minecraft, like a lot of the big game designers in the future might be coming from Minecraft. Because how much shit you can do in Minecraft, it's open-ended.
Undoubtedly, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So it's probably easier now than ever to really get into that space in one way or another. And you could do it in an easier way than before, with all the modding existing games. Roblox, another good example. Not that any of us have particularly made it as a game designer, but or anything like that. But this seems like to be the route. And I talked to my friend Shirley about this a lot too, and she actually always says that if you want to get in Shirley, she was a designer for Riot Games, and she made Lux, she made Pantheon, and I think she made a couple other heroes and did a lot of balance stuff at Riot Games. She was there pretty early on, and stuff like designing board games and card games were actually mega important because you can understand the fundamentals of design when you're making games on pen and paper.
And she still runs D&D games, like role playing
all
games.
the time. She's huge into Dungeons and Dragons, and that level of thinking of making your own campaigns, of building worlds and designing systems is what essentially goes to game development too. And again, everything I'm repeating, I've heard from her in previous conversations, and I feel like she's got some credibility to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do Rag to Riches, boys. Or you just deliver pizza to Blizzard, come up with some great ideas, and make it happen.
Indeed. I'll try looking. I have my nightlight on. Omar hates this thing, but I always
use the Flux. I hate it.
Well, it's built into
the built-in one.
Yeah, nightlight. It's it dims the blue light coming from your monitor. That way, you stay nice and healthy and sleep well. Or so.
No, you look super orange. Real talk. I'll tell you. He looks like Trump. All right, super orange.
I'm channeling my president. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Not a fan. Not a fan of the
orange?
Even at nighttime. I'll close my blinds even, and I'll my lights blasting my face, but I'll never turn on Flux or the nightlight.
Okay, I will recommend everyone on Windows 10 click the little bottom right notification window thing.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
There might be a button called Expand, and you can turn on something called Nightlight. Right click it, go to the settings, and play with it. It's very useful.
All right, we're running out of time over here, but we can talk a little more. We can talk a little more about the purgatory that is Rust if you want in the post game, because I've been hyped for Rust.
Yeah, I want to hear your war stories because there's always funny.
It's good stuff.
All right, so we will call it for YouTube. Thank you for watching, but we will stick around for Twitch. So stay with us.
All right, later for YouTube.